Check, check. Hey everyone, this is PrinceBrightstar, and welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn. We have arrived at Costa De Sol. Let's go ahead and log in. And let's see if we can find ourselves a Titan and not another Tidus. Ah ha 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 ha! I'm sorry, what can I say? It's a meme at this point, I had to do it. Okay, and I just canceled out the recommended duties. This is something that is recommended whenever you log into the game if you have that enabled. I'm just going to go into the system real quick here, and I just want to make sure that I turn all of these on here just to make sure if I happen to click off the window, it's not going to stop me from being able to hear the audio. Good afternoon, Jago. Let's see. So our destination should be right over here. And let's talk to this person here. Pardon, you wish to slay the Lord of Crags? We must slay him, Captain. The people of Limsa Lominsa are depending upon us. You fancy yourselves heroes, then? Just like in the tales? Be not so quick to judge. Long have I labored for the well-being of you and yours, and my associate here has bathed in Ifrit's hellfire and lived. He is blessed with a power that protects him from primal influence. Thus was he able to lay low the Lord of the Inferno. You know full well the risks, and have taken every possible precaution. We lack only the knowledge of how to enter Titan's lair. Pray be so good as to grant us the boon of your wisdom, and we shall be on our way. A man who can't be tempered. Useful, but it will not be enough. It is true that the company of heroes fought and felled primals, but each victory was brought with the lifeblood of brave men and women. And Titan was the worst we faced. Aye, we defeated him in the end, but he took from us some of our very best. Even if you possess the power you claim, I have no reason to believe you will succeed. Believe what you will, we mean to try. Though our lives be forfeit, we will not abandon Limsa to the wrath of Titan. You are passionate, I'll grant you that. And you deserve better than the greeting I gave you, but I will not send you into Ogomoro on a whim. To be plain, I do not wish to see you give your lives in vain. At the very least, I must have assurances that you are more than common adventurers. I oversee security for Master Gegurju Estates. Perhaps you can demonstrate your abilities by attending to one of our... Ye gods, man, have you heard nothing I have said? We have neither the time to perform... We have not the time to perform trivial tasks. The enemy is at the gates. Do you imagine words can sway me, girl? If you dislike my conditions, then you are welcome to find your own way into Ogormoro. Though it pains me to admit it, I fear we have no choice but to acquiesce to the man's demands. Yet much remains to be done if we are to best Titan. Forgive me, but I must ask you to undertake this task alone. I will use the time to see to the remaining preparations. Leaving the dirty work to others, are we? Heh, very well. Pray do whatever the good captain bids, however trifling. Remember, the fate of Limsa hangs in the balance. Alright, on to the next quest. Master Gegudru, requests can be more demanding than you realize. Before I set you to your true task, I would like to verify that this won't be a waste of my time. A Nyx has recently been seen prowling the beach to the east. As you can imagine, my master does not want large slimy creatures anywhere near his lands. The beast is cunning, but you should have no difficulty luring it out with herring. Slay the Nyx and return to me. Oh, and don't forget to bring me a leg as proof of the kill. Alright, so we are headed out to the east. And into the water. Alright, before we do anything else, let's go ahead and cast Protect. And let's eat a little food. Here's our destination. Okay, so now we're just gonna hide. And there is our target. This is a pretty simple kill to do. And now we need to make our way back over to the client. Or I guess to the captain, rather. Yeah, watch your footing around here. It's pretty easy to fall off of here. Well, did you deal with the Nyx? And let's show him the leg. Lest you think me overly cautious for testing you in this way, you should know that we had an incident not long ago. A foolish young employee was dismissed for lying about his past. He claimed to have served in the company of heroes, but I knew for a fact he did not. Anyway, now that pointless busy work is finished, I shall give you a challenge that befits your talents. Two highly distinguished individuals are scheduled to visit Costa De Sol in the near future, and Master Gegudru wishes to welcome them with an elaborate banquet. But while money is no object, not everything Master Gegudru... I keep stumbling over that name, I apologize. Gegudru desires can be so easily purchased. It is to be an extremely exotic feast, and so, Prince, your mission is to seek out and obtain the rare ingredients of our shift requires. It will be a long and arduous journey, but you need not toil alone. Many of the mercenaries who once served under my command still live, and they will guide you in your quest. For the first ingredient, I would have you travel to the South Shroud and speak with Landenal at Camp Tranquil. What? Do you mean to tell me that you cannot afford to waste time, as your associate did? Adventurer, if you have not the endurance to complete this mission, how do you expect me to believe you can outlast the Lord of Crags? Either do it or don't. I have work to do. Alright, so to Camp Tranquil we go. Do you require assistance, adventurer? So this is the one who would challenge Titan. I've been expecting you, Prince. The ingredient you seek is the egg of a giant adamantoise. The method of acquisition should be obvious. You steal it from the beast's nest, of course. Simple in theory, but difficult in execution. Most who try die in the attempt. Will I help you get it? Ha! You amuse me. I will not jeopardize my position by openly assisting you. From me, you will receive only information. What you do with it is your choice. We are really blowing through these quests in the past 10 minutes since we started. Let me be clear. This business between you, me, and the captain must remain a secret. See, I don't regret my time spent with the company in the slightest. Traveling the world, meeting interesting people, killing them, it was all jolly good fun. Alas, Gridanians are, by and large, an unforgiving lot. De Sol here being a rare exception. I had to go to great lengths to ensure that I am seen as a model citizen, with no taste for drinking, whoring, gambling, and all those other activities I so dearly miss. So understand that if you ruin my little charade by wagging your tongue, I'll fashion a noose with your entrails and hang you from the nearest heaven's pillar. Now then, where were we? Ah, yes, the egg. The first thing you must do is deal with the sentries patrolling the adamantoise breeding grounds. Poaching is illegal in Gridania, in case you are unaware. A shame we have so few whalers to spare, especially with brownie brushes almost in season. Matron forfend if Agraric flies claim to the crop before we receive additional sentries. We will also need barrels of sting brew to weaken and ward off the pests. But if any of the Vilekin were found near the shrooms before we can take preventative measures, we will be forced to shift our patrols immediately. You will, of course, notify me if you encounter any agaric flies in the vicinity of the lower paths, yes? Alright, so, using key items on targets. Some quests require you to use a key item on an enemy target. There are two ways to do it. First is by right-clicking, and the second is to first target the enemy and then click the item in the duty list over here. To answer your question, though it looks like a paddle, if I swing my camera around like this, you should be able to see there actually are some blades on it. Alright, so where is our quest? Down to the south. Okay. Okay, and as you can see, we pretty much caught up to where the where we are in leveling compared to the quest levels. So pretty shortly here, I'm actually going to go ahead and queue up for some guild tests and as well as a dungeon, just so I can try to get some more levels in. I think I need to be 33 for the next story dungeon. But I would much rather be a little bit further ahead of that. And as you can see, that's where I am right now. Looks like somebody else has joined us here, although they're taking on the Midland Condor over there. So, we found the flies. Now we need to grab ourselves a brownie bush. There we go. Let's head on back. I pray this year's crop of brownie brushes comes late. Oh my, is this a brownie brush? And you say you slew a whole swarm of agaric flies? Metron's teats, we cannot wait for reinforcements. We must do something. Alright, so let's see what we got here. 30 versus 30. And in fact, that looks to be the same piece of armor. These are not going to do anything for us, so let's grab the silver pieces. This agaric fly infestation requires our full attention. I thank you for bringing it to my attention, adventurer. If I may impose upon your kindness further, I would ask you to inform my subordinates of this dire development. I have 3 whalers currently standing guard in Roots Lake. Inform each man that they are to proceed to the lower paths and then search for agaric fly swarms until further notice. Alright, here is the first one. Agaric flies in the lower paths? Then I mustn't delay. Thank you for relaying Captain Landinel's orders, adventurer. And there are the adamantoids that we will be grabbing an egg from. What's that? Everyone is to search the lower paths for agaric flies? I know we haven't had to deal with poachers recently, but I cannot help but worry that they will strike in our absence. But an order is an order. Alright, one more to go. A message from the captain? Damn, those Vilekin are a danger to travelers on the road. I will depart immediately. Alright, let's make our way back over there. I take it you have informed my men, then. Excellent work, Prince. However, I cannot keep the roosters distracted for too long. If you wish to pillage the henhouse, you must do so now. Alright, we've reached level 34. Let's drop this point in vitality. Well, what are you waiting for? There's a perfectly good Adamantoise egg in a nest to the east of here, just ripe for the taking. Not that I expect you to live long enough to claim it. The mother never strays far from the child, and you will surely be attacked the moment you lay hands upon the egg. There will be other heroes, Prince. You do not need to challenge Titan. Abandon your quest, or your corpse will rot in this swamp. Alright, let's make our way over to said nest. Looks like it's to the northeast here. Alright. And here is the egg. And that must be the mother. And of course, that guy really built this thing up, but it's a huge nothing. All right, let's make our way back. Oh, actually... yeah, these quests can sometimes really get you. Like this one just got me. Apparently, even though we put our hand on the egg, we did not actually take the egg. So yeah, go figure on that one. I thought you might have the good sense to leave this place. By your continued presence, I take it you intend to persevere to the bitter end? Ah ha 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 ha! Such bravery, such recklessness, that will serve you well against Titan. Leave the egg with me. I'll see that it gets to the captain. You should make haste to southern Thanalan. In Forgotten Springs, you will find a man named Uoda Nun. He will be your next guide. Safe travels, Prince. And I believe that is a place that we have not unlocked yet. No, we haven't. Okay. So we're going to start off by heading to Little Alamigo. And let's hop on to Arimon. And we are going to make our way south. And while we're doing that, let's go ahead and open up some guild tests. Looks like we have not completed this one yet. Flicking sticks and taking names. So let's go ahead and queue up for that one. The place that we are looking for is all the way down here to the south. And that's going to take us by enemy territory. In fact, not only is it taking us by it, it's actually taking us right through it. We've got a fate over here, but this is actually 12 levels above us, so I'm gonna pass that by. Okay, here's our destination. As soon as we get in, I'm going to go ahead and touch the Aetheryte. Once again, that's the first thing that you should do at any new town, because that allows you to teleport there in the future. Alright, it looks like the person we need to speak to is inside of here. If this guild test happens to pop up as I'm speaking to them, then I will hop into that. State your business, adventurer. Ha ha ha! So you're the one that Whiskey sent me. I haven't the foggiest what he sees in you, and until I do, you will receive no aid from me. Alright, so it looks like we can get ourselves some new pants here. The question is, are there any boots available? I'll take the pants. And what I want to see is if there is a shop around here that would sell some boots. Looks like there are a couple of them here. Merchant and Mender, that's what we're looking for. Okay, so this isn't specifically made for a tank, but it will do for the time being, at least. Persistent bugger. Very well, let's have a look at you. You've seen your share of battle, there's no mistaking that, and you did manage to obtain the Adamantoise egg. However, that was not more than a display of brute force and blind courage. The nun I once fought also believed that his strength would save him. He was wrong, and now I am none. Many years ago, I joined the company of heroes to hone my skills, instead of challenging my predecessor before I was ready. Even when I was young, I understood that victory goes to the patient, the cunning, and the pragmatic. That is why I claimed my position, and that is why I still hold it. And it is why I will not help an unproven whelp. The children of the sands do not offer aid to strangers. To do so is a sign of weakness. However, if you were recognized as a skilled hunter in your own right, it would be permissible to assist you. A child who wishes to become a hunter must collect the blood of 7 sundrakes. You are not a child, so you may find this to be easy, but you are not of the U tribe, so perhaps not. I will consider your request once you have brought me the blood, and not a moment sooner. Hey, just to double check, is the audio in sync today? Okay, it looks like our guild has just popped up, so let's head into that. Okay, so for this one, we need to make our way up the tree over there. Okay, for this one, we have to break through the barricade over here. Let me see if I can flash these guys. Nope, it doesn't look like I can make them through. Now I can flash them. And with that, I now have the high ground. Though I don't think that actually has any advantages in this game. Okay, that takes care of that group. Up we go! Okay, and based on that, it looks like I need to do some repairs pretty soon. But for this one, we need to break through 2 barricades. Definitely, if you can take less damage, it'll help out your healer. And here is the boss of this guild test. His shtick is he just keeps putting bombs on the ground, basically. As long as you stay outside the circles, you'll be fine. And that finishes up that guild test. Okay. So we got a nice little bonus out of that. Alright, let's keep making our way over. We still have a little ways to go here. But I think that is the first of the Sundrakes. Alright, based on what I'm seeing here, I need to bring Hadrid back out. So let's go ahead and grab him. Seven of these does seem a little excessive. Let me bring up this again here, and it looks like we do have a couple of more guild hests that we can hop into, so I'll go ahead and queue us up for that while I'm working on this. Actually, I think I walked outside the zone for it. Here's one. As you can see, we've pretty much made our way out into the desert here. Yeah, at this point we just have to find some more of them here. Here's one. Okay, 3 to go. Let's see if we can help out with this one. Alright, doesn't look like we got credit for that. But the last two we needed popped up pretty quickly here. Hey, King's Crown. Alright, and so now we are going to head back over to Forgotten Springs. Since this is quite a ways away, I'm going to go ahead and teleport. I apologize if you're hearing that outside. There is nothing I can do about it. I will not help an unproven whelp. Bring me the blood, or we have nothing to discuss. You are a hunter of beasts. This much I know to be true. But Titan is no mere beast. If you mean to hunt a god, you must prove much more to me. Let's see what we got here. So that actually does look like an upgrade. Let's see, Vitality versus... it could go either way, actually. It's a question of, do I have enough accuracy at this point? I think I do. So, I'll go with the silver pieces. Hunting a beast is a simple affair. You merely stalk, pursue, and slay. Hunting a beastman, however, is a far more complex endeavor. Across the desert to the east lies an Amalja encampment. There dwells a warrior renowned for both his strength and his guile. To even face this Amalja in battle, you must first find a way to lure him away from the encampment. This will be your test, to draw out and defeat the veteran. For this I will offer you no advice, only this worn spear. Why, you ask? You will have to solve that riddle yourself. Now go, slay this old warrior, and bring me his necklace. Yeah, King's Crown. That's partly why I keep queuing for things, even though I'm also progressing through the story. There's kind of a misnomer online that as long as you follow the main story quest, you're going to get all the experience that you need, but really that is not true. You do need to... what's going to end up happening is if I don't do this, I'm going to run into a situation where I'll have to grind some levels in order to get into new content like you have here. Best advice I can give you is if you're a tank, queue into dungeons. If not, or if they're popping quickly as a healer, you could do that as well. Otherwise, if you're a DPS, you might do better at the Palace of the Dead. Just doing floor 1 to 10 or floor, I think it's 51 to 60. But that's content that we'll get into later down the road. I'm probably going to save that for towards the end. Once we get into Heavensward content, that being if we even need it. Anyway, let's get this one going more than a feeler first, before we head into here. Hey there, ads. Now this one can be kind of tricky because you do need to worry about the bubbles that pop up here. So let's pop Sword Oath and let's get this going. But it doesn't look like the DPS are paying... well, actually they kind of are. These rotten jams are going to pop out if the stale bubbles aren't popped. But there are certain bubbles that we do need to avoid here. Grab this one as well. Looks like we got a Machinist in here, so at least they've got an AoE that they can cast on the bubble. Yeah, it's the acid bubbles that we have to worry about. Make sure we don't pop. Help out the healer a little bit by doing some fight or flight as well as rampart. Okay, and we do need to get that ring repaired once we are out of here. I think it's like the one piece of gear that I have yet to actually upgrade just because we haven't found anything better. Alrighty, so that completes that guild test. Yeah, you can get eye level 235 weapons from Palace of the Dead once you get your the in palace weapon leveled up, and then you can then upgrade that, I think, to a 255. Alright, so let's see, is it, let me make sure I'm actually at the right place here. Okay, he's actually to the southwest of here. Although this is an of level fate for us here, so we might as well take it on here. Yeah, the weathered gear is the stuff that I have yet to actually upgrade. So that'll be this thing. Actually, I do actually have some backups that I can rely on here, so let me go ahead and put these on. That and that. Okay. That'll do for now, until we can actually get them repaired. Alright, here's the one that we actually need to take out. Alright, we seem to have drawn the attention of the sniper. Let's take him out. Pop a potion right now, just to try to get some health back. Alright. Let me start using my cooldowns. Just to make sure we can take this guy out without any problems. As you can see, he does like to do those line AoE attacks. And that's helpful for me because that means I just have to dodge those. I don't have to worry about actually taking that damage. Let me also see if I can stun him. It looks like we can stun him, so that buys me a little more time as well. Not too much though. It's not a full stun like I would expect. While we are finishing this guy off, let's go ahead and queue into one more here. Just in case we got an instant pop, I did want to make sure I at least got this guy mostly down first, so that we wouldn't have to hop out of it. Alright, and that clears up that fate. Nice little bit of experience there, as well as some Grand Company seals. As we can see, I'm at 5,227 of those, so I should be able to get myself a promotion the next time we head over to New Gridania. So, let's plant this spear in the ground. And once again, we are going to hide. Not sure how that's going to work if they can just see me from over there. Down he goes. Let's head back over to Forgotten Springs. And before I do anything else, let's go ahead and repair. Actually, let me check with this guy first here. This is a junkmonger. Sometimes they have items that I need, but it doesn't look like it here. Alright, let's just repair what we've got. Here's the other thing we need. Alright, so... yeah, this increased strength and accuracy... actually, that ring is better than what we've got right now. And then, in terms of the neck piece... I would switch that out as well. Alright, so for the most part, we are geared. Really, the next upgrade that we'll be looking at is going to be coming at level 35. Tell me, adventurer, is our old nemesis dead? Let's hand over the necklace. 'Tis a fine necklace, as befits a veteran of countless battles. It will make an excellent trophy. The spear? It belonged to one of his brothers. I knew when he spied it from afar he would be unable to resist venturing outside the encampment to see for himself. Did you discern my intent, or was it dumb luck, I wonder? Either way, you impress me, adventurer. I shall tell you of the ingredient you seek. A shame we did not meet when I was still with the company of heroes. You would have made a fine recruit. But no point dwelling on what cannot be. You have a Welwick worm to hunt. Sandworms slither brazenly across the desert dunes, but Welwick worms are far fewer in number. Rarity breeds demand, and so their meat is highly prized as a delicacy. The only way you can catch your quarry is to entice it with something it cannot resist. These worms prey on the smaller creatures of the Sagoli. A freshly slaughtered angler carcass would be my choice of bait. There's an area teeming with anglers to the east. I will mark it upon your map, along with the location where Welwick worms are most frequently sighted. Be warned, the blood will drive the worm into a feeding frenzy. If your skills are lacking, it will devour you as well. Alrighty. I think we saw some angler on the way into here. Question is this actually the angler he's talking about? Let's see. I don't think that's the case. Ah, so you just needed anglers, not dune anglers. I would ask why you're being so specific, but the name that we're dealing with here is actually quite ambiguous. Go figure. Alright, so we got the carcass here. There's another of those sundrakes. Oh, actually, whoa! Oh, what do you know? We have ourselves another A-rank hunt here. Alright, let me kind of put things on hold here for just a moment. Let's see. Shout. Hopefully there's somebody in the area that will be able to assist with this. Oh dear, and this thing just popped up. Well, hopefully it'll take people a minute or two to arrive. For this one in particular, what needs to happen is I need to grab Buso there, and he's going to summon a bunch of ads. At the same time, the DPS needs to worry about putting out the blue flames. So I'm actually going to draw him away. bringing out some Void Hounds. Let me grab this one and the other one. There we go. And even more are popping up. All I can really do for this one is just kind of flash away and hope that everything turns out okay. Alright, let me move him. I'm gonna start to use Riot Blade so I can continue to flash here. Okay, Buso is down. Now we just have to take out the rest of the ads and then we should be good. And there we go, and we also got You're the Hester round 1 with that. So that gives us another experience boost there. Alright, let's give our commendation over to the healer. And let's make our way out of here. Now let's see if anybody responded. It does not look like it. Let's see. Alright, so I've got that copied. Bear with me for one moment. I just want to make sure I hang on to that. Obviously, we can't take him out on our own here. But once we're done with this quest, I'm going to head over to town and see if we can get a little assistance. Alright, there is the Welwick Worm. Oh, looks like somebody actually did respond. Any others on the way? This would be a level 60 taking on this guy. Alright, so it looks like we are indeed going to give this a try here. Once again, if we're able to take this guy out, what's going to happen is we will... Oh, Hadrit went down. What's going to happen is we're going to get access to hunt marks, which will give us a nice gear up at the start. Let me try to get a fracture on this guy. There we go. Since they are a scholar, they should be able to take this guy out, since they're able to not just only heal, but also can also do some damage to him. As you can see, I'm doing what I can. But once again, that's really where the accuracy kind of comes into play here. This target, of course, being 16 levels above me. And I'm just staying behind him, so that reduces the amount of accuracy I need to have in order to actually hit him. But I'm not bringing Hadrit back out again, just because of the fact that it's just a one-hit thing. So if he gets hit, then he goes down after just that one shot. And it's going to be the same story for me, so that's why I'm being kind of careful here. As soon as I see this guy do his cast for the Electrify, I just back right off and get out of there. Most players at level 50 would have around 8,000 hit points, I think, at this point. Holly is level 60, so they've gone through the Heavensward content. We're still quite a ways away from that, though. Even once we kind of hit the end of Realm Reborn, which is around the time that we hit level 50, we still have about 100 quests to go through before we even get to Heavensward. And if I'm going to be totally honest with you, there's going to be a point whereby there's going to be one episode where pretty much there isn't going to be too much gameplay. It's going to be all cutscenes. I don't know how I'm going to handle that one. Maybe I'll do an AMA at that point or something. But it's something that's going to be coming up. But we're still quite a ways away from that. Alright, so at this point I'm out of TP here. So now it's going to be even long between each attack that I can make. I do want to do is try to keep at least doing Rage of Halone, which is this thing, whereby it reduces their strength. Because if I'm able to do that, that lessens the amount of healing that they need to do on themselves. The broil attack there that you see that they're using is basically what their main DPS attack is. Alright, and there it goes. We got 30 allied seals as well as 30 poetics from it. Alright. Might as well let them know that they're on a live stream. Alright. So let's see here. So with that done, let's make our way over back to Forgotten Springs. So that right there gives us a very nice boost there. Oh, actually, we've got a fate going on in here. So once we hit level 50, we'll be able to put those seals to good use, and be able to pick up either like a new ring or a new necklace, or I think we might even be able to afford a chest piece now that I think about it. Let me see. From that we got, yeah, we're at 80 seals at this point, and I think it's 40 for the chest piece. So we could probably get the chest piece and the legs at this point. Or I could go for ring, necklace, and either earrings or wrist, and I could use that to boost up my eye level, which will, at that point, be very important in order to actually get into certain content. But I do need to kind of remind myself of what level everything is at that point. Or rather, what eye level. Eye level is your item level compared to your character level. I think we have to take out this Udhadashi. But we really don't seem to be doing too much damage to it for us to actually be able to do much here. Even with all these extra players. Actually, no, those aren't players. Well, two of them are. No, one of them is just a was just a chocobo. Speaking of a chocobo, let me go ahead and bring mine back out. We can at least finish up the Bossum buddies here. There we go. Yeah, based on what I'm seeing here, it's going to be real tight if we're going to get this guy down in time. I'm probably going to have to revive Hadron a couple of times here. What I'm trying to do is make sure I don't attack any more of the sandworms, just so that their enmity doesn't come on to me. I've kind of got this guy in the corner here. One, to try to keep the sandworms away, but two, also to make it a little easier to dodge his main attack there, where he does the conal AoE. Because then I can just kind of bounce back and forth between both positions here. Taking another look, we're probably going to have him down before the timer's out. Can I stun him? Nope, he won't be stunned. Okay, we almost got him. And down he goes. Okay, let's hand this in. You look well. Have you caught your quarry, then? Your skills as a hunter rival those of our best. I applaud your success, Prince. The meat will need to be heavily smoked before I ship it to Westgate. Worry not. You have my word that he will receive it in time for the banquet. You must be eager to obtain the third ingredient. I regret to say I know not of its location. For the nonce, you should return to Costa De Sol and seek Westgate's counsel. Ah, but hold a moment. Since you will be meeting the captain again soon, there is something I would like you to deliver to him for me. Okay, so we have some gloves here. I've got 30. This is 30. So those appear to be the same. Let's grab the silver pieces. The captain was always fond of this brand wine. I would be grateful if you could deliver it on my behalf. I was a reckless, angry youth when I first joined the company, and he would have been well within his rights to cast me out. Everything I have I owe to his wisdom and generosity. Westgate was a firm yet fair teacher, an expert molder of men, and I suspect that it is still the case now. Please give him my regards, Prince. Alrighty, so let's make our way back over to Costa De Sol. At this point, I can actually hop out of the party with Holly here. Well met, Prince. Landinel and Uda Nun both spoke highly of you. What brings you here today? Let's hand over that brand wine. Ah, my favorite. I shall have to thank the nun personally. Now, you have but one ingredient left. Fortunately, you will not have to travel to Aldenar this time to obtain it. Truth be told, I never intended for you to collect this last ingredient. Brayflox, my old quartermaster, wished to bring it to Costa De Sol herself. However, not long ago, she sent word that there's been some trouble at the Long Stop, and the delivery would be delayed indefinitely. She told me nothing of the incident itself, but I fear the situation may be dire. Though I would like nothing more than to aid her myself, I have no choice but to turn to you and your allies. Make haste to the Hidden Falls docks, and speak to Oznun Nazun. He will direct you to Raincatcher Gully, where Brave Fox and her people have made their home. Alrighty. Now, let me just double check. There is an item vendor over here, Merchant and Mender. To be honest, this is one of the more difficult things that we're about to go into here, so I do want to kind of upgrade things a bit. Let's see. You know what? Why don't we go ahead and queue up... Let's see. This one doesn't unlock for a little bit here. Let's see. And we can't get into the Sunken Temple of Karn yet. Yeah, Brayflox is an interesting character that we'll meet pretty soon here. You know what? We got the gil for it. Let's go ahead and pick up some new stuff here. Let's also purchase battle gear. Alright, we did also go to Upper Lanoshka at one point, so let me head over there real quick. Since they might have some upgraded gear as well here. Alright, they don't have that. Is there an armorer? Here we go. Nah, it doesn't look like anything actually is available until I hit level 34. Alright, so we're just gonna have to make our way over to there then. I would much rather be going into this at level 35, but 34 will have to do. And even if we did Fates, we would have to go through like 5 of them before I would actually level up. Take a look at this thing here. That is one of the remnants from the Calamity. What's the hurry, venturer? Eh? Something happening over at the Gabi settlement? I don't know why you're so eager to help a bunch of beastmen, but go and talk to the skipper over yonder. She'll ferry ye to Raincatcher Gully. Alright, let's speak to the ferry skipper. We're going to Raincatcher Gully. Are you coming? Alright, 40 gil. Now, before we actually make our way over to there, I want to travel north real quick and head over to this settlement up here called Wineport. Now, this place also has an aetheryte that I want to touch before we head in. Alright, and let me just check real quick the store that they've got in here. That's all the same. Yeah, like I said, the next real upgrade comes at level 35 for me here. Alright, let's make our way over to Brayflock's Altox. And once we get out of here, I'm going to probably need to get some more food. So that's one of the other things I was kind of looking for as we were going here. But it looks like we're probably going to have to head back into one of the main cities and actually purchase some off the auction house. Alright, this is Brayflox, and as you can tell, he is a goblin. Shock! Tongue flaps of Whiskat be reaching ear of Brayflox. Uplander is come for tasty fresh gobby treats, yes? Quest prize of Uplander deep in Longstop. Flighty beast chase Gobbyflock from homes. Gobbyflock needs goodly Uplander, gives safety to Longstop with much hand-lending. And with that, we now have access to Brayflox's Longstop. So let's go ahead and queue up for that. Looks like the wait should be less than about 5 minutes here. And with that, let's go ahead and see what we can do to help out with this fate here. Waiting for that to pop up, let me also check out what we've kind of gotten done here. So we've done 3 of the guild tests in terms of fate. Oh, actually, there's Brayflox now. That being if the DPS are paying attention here today. Okay, we got the bonus from that fate before we went in, so that's nice. Alright, and here we go. Now this dungeon in particular is kind of going to be one of the first real checks in the game to make sure that you're understanding what you actually need to be doing in your role. This is typically one of the first dungeons where healers don't really get much of a chance to do much DPS. Instead, they're kind of healing the whole way through. And for me, since I don't get Shield Oath until level 40, it's going to be a little difficult for me to kind of control everything that's going on. But hopefully these Machinists understand that, and are willing to work with me. It is kind of funny that we do have two Machinists in here. Machinists or Machinists? I'm not sure. But either way, basically, it's kind of the same as what we've had to do in the past. Just keep rotating between targets once you get control of everything after doing a couple of flashes, and that way you'll never lose enmity on the enemies. Alright, we need to head over here next. And this is going to be a 3-pull, so 1, 2, 3. And then once we're out of here, we should also be ready for the next Paladin job class, or quest rather. So you might be wondering why I upgraded my sword just now. It was partly to get the better stats that were going to come off of it in terms of parry and vitality. This is really the dungeon that you really want to make sure your gear is up to snuff on. Otherwise, you're going to have a really hard time getting through it. Alright, here's the Pathfinder. They have a key that we need to retrieve, which we just got. And that key then lets us into the rest of the dungeon. And honestly, if these DPS want to keep using their AoE, I am more than fine with letting them do that. All I ask is that they do keep an eye and make sure that I'm not going to lose it before... Just because, once again, I don't have my Shield Oath yet. I get that at level 40. Once I get that, enmity holding is a lot easier. And Paladin is really the only class that has this problem. At level 30, both the Dark Knight as well as the Warrior class get access to their enmity generating stuff at level 30. So it's a little bit more difficult for Paladin at this stage of the game. Alright, so let me give a countdown of 10. And let me also eat here. Now this one is, for the most part, fairly simple. You just want to make sure you have initial enmity, and then once you have that, kind of bounce back and forth between the targets, and eventually more adds are going to be summoned in. and that's fine. You just need to be ready to pick them up when they come out. Here they come. If anything, I wish the healer was being a little bit more deliberate with their healing, but beyond that, this seems to be going fairly smoothly here. I just don't like constantly being at 25% health. Alright, there goes the first boss. Let's see what we got. That is for a black mage, which we don't have. I'll go ahead and pass on that. As you can see here, the Goblin Pathfinder is even helping us out a little bit, although he's not really doing that much damage. Alright, we got Comet Chasers here. Keep going through the rotation. There goes the first one. As you can see, we kind of got a long way to go here, inside of here. More Comet Chasers as well as an Ash Drake. Order on these really isn't that important. Just as long as you hang on to everything that you grab. So, like, I have a chance of losing the Ash Drake there. But I have picked it back up, and now it's dead. And onto the Comet Chaser. Hey, I asked this before and I didn't get a response. Is my audio in sync today? I just want to make sure, because I was working with the settings a little bit. Alright, we got more Comet Chasers up here. Try to help out the healer a bit there with the shield wall. Or not shield wall, rampart. Okay, cool. I remember back in, I think, like episode 2 or 3, there was an issue with the audio sync that I could never get fixed. Okay, here's the next boss, an Infernal Drake. And let's give everybody a countdown of 10, Yeah, I was trying to actually get my Elgato card working inside OBS, but for some reason there's just a constant delay with it. Only using the Elgato official software seems to work, and even that, after the Nova broadcast, I've noticed some delays with the, or rather frame drops. It always catches back up, but it's not something that happened before, so I'm kind of wondering what happened. I'm gonna try reinstalling the drivers that probably. Hopefully I don't have to RMA the thing. Pop Rampart. Once again, help out the healer. Oh, did Brave Blocks just provoke him? I think there's going to be one more ad here. Or no, Brave Flox is going to tank him now. Oh, somebody's popping the limit break there. Alrighty, so that one is down. Let's see what we got. Oh, that's actually an upgrade for us. And in fact, we need those because those are much better boots than we had before. So that is a nice upgrade. Okay, so one of the things that you can do in this dungeon is you don't have to fight everything. You can actually just kind of go around the outer rim of everything and just take care of those creatures. And I think it cuts out like maybe 1 or 2 pools. Compared to doing a full run. I wonder what happened to the DPS there. I blame the AI, but I know they're not AI. That's funny. We have Nova, which has some of the best AI, than Phantasy Star Universe, which I put out last night, which has some of the worst AI. And now... Oh, what? How did those guys get pulled? Alright. Well, I'm gonna have to pop some stuff then. Somebody say something? No, nobody said anything about going AFK, so I don't know what's going on here. Let's see if we can maybe get people onto the same targets here. Sometimes this is the best way to get people to kind of focus on what you want them to focus on. And doing this can sometimes really help to finish up a group if something's going on. Okay, I just went down. I'm hoping the healer will try to pick me back up. Okay, they're saying the game froze for them. Let's hope that they can finish off this group, and then they can just pick me up again. Alright, they seem to have things under control here. But yeah, that's part of the reason why, one of the reasons I don't like constantly being at a low HP, just because it's hard for me to tell when I need to use a potion in that case. Alrighty. But that was still nice that they were able to finish that off there. Alright, so let's make our way over here. We'll pull this. At some point, we're probably going to have to deal with the swamp Pugilli there. I'll go ahead and pop the Foresight, just because I am weakened right now. Okay, here he comes. It doesn't seem like he's actually pulling, so that's some good news. Alright, and so all this we just cut out, basically. So now we're on to the Hellbender boss. And to be honest, this guy is, he's not actually a true boss in a sense. As you'll see in just a moment here. We do need to take care of this bubble here, just to free our partner. Should be right about now, I think. Any second. There he is! So, let's pick up Iter. And off he goes. Let's see, those gloves are not as good as what we got currently, so I'll pass on those. Alright, so let's take on this group here. We are basically headed into the mountains now, where that guy makes his lair. Alright, on to the next group. Alright, I want to give the healer a chance to get just a little bit of mana back. And we should be good now. Now what we're going to do is, after this group, we're going to make our way over there. Sometimes there can be a nice item coming from that group, or specifically the curl behind them. And I'm sure this is making the DPS happy as well, because honestly, the longer that they can stay in a dungeon, the more experience they're going to get from the dungeon. I just hope there actually is a good item in here. Let's see what we got. A Lancer's Ring. So that would actually be for a Lancer or a Dragoon, which we don't have here, unfortunately, so We'll just go ahead and agree on that. But given that we do have two machinists in here, they may work on those classes eventually. Alright, so this guy is kind of unique in that you need to really kind of pull him around the arena. And you need to make sure to keep him out of the puddles that he's going to spawn. So it's okay to kind of start in the middle here, but pretty quickly you're going to want to start to move him. And I'm also kind of relying on the healer to keep me healed as well as to take the poisons off of me. Okay, there's the first bit of toxic vomit. I'm gonna move him away. Okay, there's the next one. So yeah, if you can kind of make a circle around the arena, that'll be best. Unfortunately, there's nothing I can do about that. I have to drag him through it. And the reason you want to move him away is because as long as he's standing in that, he's going to be healing himself. I'm going to try to pull just slightly back. Alright, now let's move over here. Alright, we're starting to run out of space to move here, so hopefully we get him down pretty soon. In fact, it looks like somebody might be trying to use a limit break. Alright, the good news is at least the center area is now clear again. But, there we go. Alright, let's, well, they're the only one left for the commendation. That is going to be more for them, so I'll pass on that. And now Brayflox is here. Let's hit the exit here. Alright, let's make our way back over to Brayflox. Overall, aside from that one pull where everything kind of stopped, both DPS kind of stalled, and then the healer lost things. Overall, that was a very good run. Shock! Goodly Uplander has thanks of Gobbyflock. Flighty Beast was tricksy foe, but Uplander outwitted with plans making. Uplander has goodly head for fighty think. Brayflock's happy gives tasty fresh gobby treats to clever Uplander. Jesus stinky sweet gobby treat. Special make with secret gobby arts. No party complete without gobby gouda. Brayflocks ever say. Alright, so let's head back over. Actually, before we turn this in, there's a couple of things we need to do. Let's head over to Ul'dah. And let's hit the Aethernet and head over to the Adventurers Guild. And like I said before we headed in, we are now in need of some food. So, let's hit the market board. And this is basically what the market board is here. The markets are a venue in which players from across the realm can either sell their own items using hired hands known as retainers, or purchase the items of another. The markets can be accessed by targeting and selecting one of the many market boards conveniently located throughout Eorzea's town and city-states. The markets of Limsa, Lominsa, Gridania, Ul'dah, and Ishgard are all connected, meaning that items put up for sale in one city-state can be viewed as well as purchased by players accessing the markets in a second city-state. Sifting through the sheer number of items up for sale in the markets can prove an overwhelming task for those not familiar with the system, as most gear required for the first few levels of any class can be easily found at local NPC-run shops. It is recommended that players start here, and then work their way to the markets once they feel those shops can no longer meet their needs. And basically the way that this works is we have a bunch of tick boxes that we can kind of push in, and those will reveal what they have available. So for gladiator arms, there are some better swords available, and I think we would probably get this from the next Paladin quest, which we're about to undertake. But the thing we're looking for here is meals. So let's see what we got here. Parry, Vitality, Determination. Let's see. I just want to go through the rest of these real quick here. I would actually say that... Let's see. Yeah, this is probably going to be better. Although the price on this is exorbitant, so let's not do that. Let's see. Yeah, so we've got Marmot steaks over here, but they're not... They don't really give me much in stats. Let's see. This is a bit better. It gives me vitality and accuracy, although it's still not that much. Bear with me for a moment here. Let me see if there's a better way to look at this here. Alright, so this would be more high-end stuff. Unfortunately, there isn't a really good way to sort beyond this. Okay, this is actually very reasonable. This gives me parry, vitality, and skill speed. And I can actually get quite a bit of it here for a good price. So yeah, I think let's go with this. We can always get something better down the road. But this will also make sure that we're pretty much good to go through most of the rest of the Realm Reborn content, I believe. So let me now drag this over to here, and this is part of the reason I've been kind of saving up on saving up the gil, so because I knew that was going to eventually happen, and even with doing that, we've still got close to 90,000 gil available. Alright, so now we're going to head over to the Chamber of Rule. And let's speak to Jinlins. You have earned the right to call yourself a paladin, but how do others treat you? Do they recognize you for what you are? Remember that fancy swordplay and well-polished armor do not make you a paladin. You must be just in your heart and strive always to be an exemplar of true virtue. Once, not so long ago, the Sultan Sworn could walk the streets with their heads held high. When they marched by, the small folk would look upon them with reverence and gratitude, and no one was more respected than the captain, my predecessor. When I first saw him, I was still a child. My father had promised to take me to a local festival, but somewhere he took a wrong turn. We became lost and stumbled into a secluded back alley. Luck was not with us, because the next moment we found ourselves in the middle of a riot. Drunken hunters were firing arrows into a crowd, and we were caught between them. There was no way out. It was only a matter of time before we would be struck. That's when the captain saved us from our plight. I've never seen a sword move so swiftly. It flashed faster than my eye could follow. And in seconds the hunters were on the ground or fleeing for their lives. The captain was gone down the street, slicing at their heels, before my father had time to thank him. Even today I can see the captain as he was then, blood on his sword and armor, impossibly bright in the sun. After that, all I ever wanted was to be a paladin. I would practice endlessly with my sword, dreaming of bandits defeated and monsters slain. Even after I became one of the Sultan's Sworn, the memory of the captain still inspired me. I was always the first to arrive in the training yard, and the last to leave. And so the years passed, and before I knew it, I found myself named captain of the Sultan's Sworn. Yet the triumph was hollow, because by then the honor of the Sultan's Sworn elite, that very thing that had drawn me to the Brotherhood, was a mere vestige, like the discarded banner of a defeated foe. There were many reasons for the fall, but the loss of Oathkeeper, yes, that was a mortal blow. The sword Oathkeeper was bestowed upon the first captain of the Sultan's Sworn by the then Sultan of Ul'dah, and the time it became our standard. The symbol of the oaths we had sworn, and it was treasured by each new captain for generations. Possession was proof of Sultan Sworn command. But then the unthinkable came to pass. Oathkeeper was stolen by the traitor. It shook our brotherhood to the core. How can we be trusted to protect the Sultana if we cannot even hold onto the symbol of our fealty? We have been tarnished in the eyes of ruler and ruled alike. If the Sultan Sworn are to survive, we must find the traitor and recover Oathkeeper. But the Sultan Sworn have grown too weak, and we cannot do it ourselves. We've been forced to recruit outsiders to help us in our cause. I have high hopes for you, my friend. It is a great thing that we ask, and you must learn more of our secrets if you are to succeed. In Outer Lenoshka, near the Hermit's Hovel, is a grove where ringtails congregate. Pitting yourself against a host of the beasts would be a fine way to hone your skills that I will teach you. In the grove you will find another brazier, this time filled with a potent incense that will drive the creatures into a frenzy. Defeat your attackers and return to me. Alrighty, so... we were headed to Outer Lenosia, which we actually do not have access to just yet. Or rather, we don't have the teleport for that just yet. So, we are going to head over to Upper Lenosia. And let's hop on Ahriman. And we are going to try to make our way to the north. Now, the other thing I want to do for the moment here is I do also want to just double check through what we've got here. There's something in the South Shroud, as well as Outer Lenosha, so we are actually headed there right now, so this is perfect. We should be able to finish up these hunts as well. Looks like we've been heavied here. We're just going to keep moving here. There we go. And into the next area we go. As you can see, these guys are pretty high level. I think it was actually expected that I would come in from the western entrance and not this entrance. But pickers can't be choosers here, so we're just gonna keep moving. Yeah, these velociraptors are quite a bit lower in level. Alright, let's touch the Aetheryte here. And let's hop back on Ahriman. And from here, it looks like we need to head to the northwest into a path over here. Alright, we've got a fate over here, but I'm going to go ahead and pass that by since that's not really what we're looking at right now here. Okay, here are the ringtails. We're gonna... Let's see. It would probably be better if I took them out first before we trigger this thing. Okay, that gives us some room to work with. And we got leaping ringtails here. Alright, the fracture should finish him off. And there we go. Oh, one more. Oh, and a couple of more here. Alright, in that case, I'm going to cast Protect. Just because that's about to run out. Alright, Hadred's on the one over there. I've got this one. And now let me grab him off. I get the feeling this lesson is also intended to be kind of a lesson in targeting as well. Just to make sure you don't accidentally click onto more and have to deal with more incoming damage. Alright, so let's head back over to Ul'dah now. Well done. You have taken the skills I taught you and made them your own. I still do not have word of where the traitor is hiding, but I will inform you the moment I do. Until then, continue your training. Okay, and so we just learned cover. Now, the way that cover works is it's a skill that's designed to basically protect an ally whenever they're in danger. Let's see here. I guess I can put it in the number 6 slot for now, until we get something else to fill that. Okay. So with that done, let's head back over to Costa De Sol. I gather you solved Brayflox's little problem? By the gods, that unholy stench. This is definitely goblin cheese. Judging from the smell, this should be quite flavorful. How's it made? It's best you remain ignorant of such things. I still remember when I learned what kind of milk they use. Alrighty. Bravo, Prince. Thanks to you, our guests shall be honored with a marvelous banquet. But what good is an exotic feast without an equally exquisite aperitif? Your work is not yet finished. Before we can discuss Titan, you must first bring us a suitable wine. Speak with Dritzwites over yonder. He is overseeing preparations for the banquet, and he will tell you what you must do. Nice quest name. What do you mean you forgot the wine? Beg your pardon, sir, but I've got my hands full with... Oh, you're the adventurer sent to pick up the wine. Thank the gods, we've nothing on hand that will meet Master Gigaruju's approval. Take this order slip and run along to Wineport. One of Whisket's friends from the old days, Shamani Lomani, is our supplier. Who'd have thought that a former mercenary would have such refined tastes, eh? Everyone here agrees that he's a natural vineyard. If you're lucky, maybe he'll let you have a taste. Alright, so... Whoops. So we're headed over to Wineport now. Sweat, grime, and blood. Aye, you reek of blood. An adventurer, unless I am mistaken. What brings you to Wineport? An order? Let me guess, a request for the finest vintage I can muster. The paper smells of loam and perfume. Costa De Sol. And there is also the unmistakable odor of goblin cheese. Yes, Master Gigaruju would not settle for anything less than the best. Dritzweiss and his crew must be quite busy preparing an exotic feast, hence his decision to rely on an adventurer. But perhaps you are confused. This display of deduction was not intended to impress you. When one loses his vision, he is forced to compensate in other ways. But you've no interest in my affairs. You only wish to discuss wine, I suspect. Oh dear, he's blind. Let's see here. Let's go with the silencing potion. Life can be so delightfully unpredictable. I always had a passion for wine, but it wasn't until I was forced to retire that I could pursue it as more than a mere hobby. It wouldn't have been possible if not for the savings I amassed during my time as a mercenary, of course. Say what you will about the nature of that work, none can deny it pays well. But you grow impatient, and Dritzweiss must have his wine. Herein lies the problem. Nothing in my possession is of sufficient quality for the occasion. The best vintages in town are hoarded by Birgalint, who owns and operates the largest winery in Vilbrand. Somehow, I doubt he will be receptive to your request, but given these circumstances, we must needs beg his assistance. Alrighty. So, I believe they are inside of here. What rank amateur bottled this wine? The impurities have rendered it nigh undrinkable. Dismissal is too good for the man responsible. He should be made to drink every drop of his polluted swill. What is it? I'm in the middle of an important discussion, and I do not care for interruptions. That neophyte Vignier bid you speak with me? Ha! Neither you nor your friend has the palate to appreciate the subtle qualities of my private stock. I would sooner serve you gobble urine than sell you my worst vintage. Begone from my sight. Alright, back over to Shamani. I take it he said no? Really, in those words? Well, I cannot say that I am surprised. While there's no denying his passion and skills, the wine baron of Limsa is not a man known for his tact. Very well, we shall have to take an alternative approach. Alright, so here we have a bunch of warding potions. And I am actually going to take a wind ward potion. There is a chance, however small, that another resident of Wineport can furnish us with a suitable wine. In fact, had you come several years ago, I guarantee this would not be a problem. Alas, the quality of product has declined significantly in recent years. The only breeds cultivated these days are common lowland vines, which isn't to say that their grapes are of poor quality, only that we have known better. Long ago, the vignerons of Wineport crossbred several species and produced a grape-bearing vine of never-before-seen quality. Baku's grapes were once the pride of this town, as they were used to produce vintages which surpassed all others. This includes the most aromatic, the most complex, the most flavorful of all wines. Aye, the legendary Baku's wines were born right here in Wineport. Ahem. Pardon my enthusiasm, you see. I once had the privilege to sample that particular wine. It was an otherworldly experience. In that moment, I felt as though I had tasted the nectar of the gods themselves. I transcended my mortal flesh and was one with all creation. Nectar of the gods, huh? That reminds me of King's Quest V. But, as is all too often said, the calamity changed that. The Baku's vineyards were completely destroyed, along with much of the existing stock of Baku's wine. What little remains is closely guarded by its owners, for it can no longer be made. If we cannot convince Bargalant to part with his wines, our next best option, as ridiculous as it sounds, is to find someone who has a bottle of Baku's wine, and to offer them every gil we can spare. I've heard rumors that one of the vignerons tending to the vineyards might have once owned a bottle. Perhaps you could start by speaking with them. Alrighty. So one of them is up here. What? Do I have Baku's wine? I wish. I never had the chance to try it myself. Sorry, friend, but you're a few years too late. Alright. And the other should be inside of this building here. I think on the other side. Or is it possible that they're up there? Here they are. Baku's wine? Bah, don't remind me. Used to have a cellar filled with the stuff. Thought I could keep the wine safe from thieves and the elements. Never counted on a bloody Primal blowing up my goddamn house. So based on that, I would say no. There is no stock available. No luck, huh? Most regrettable, but we had to try. But Baku's wine would have been perfect for the occasion. Though I must confess my certitude could be due in part to my personal history with the beverage. It is, after all, the very reason I have decided to become a vigneron. After Titan blinded me in our battle beneath Ogormoro, I fell into a deep depression. It wasn't until I tasted Baku's wine for the first time that I realized there was so much I could experience, even in my condition. It helped me to find a new direction in life. It breaks my heart to think that wondrous ambrosia, which once filled me with hope, may be lost to us. Alright, let me grab these high potions of vitality. I must say, this talk of Baku's wine has made me rather nostalgic. Indeed, there is much I miss about my life with the company of heroes. After everything the captain has done for me, I could not bear to disappoint him. Have no fear. I swear that I shall find a suitable wine for the banquet. though I may need some time to think of a solution. In the meantime, there is a favor I would ask of you. 2 years ago, in the deepest depths of my despair, I stumbled across Vilbrand as a vagabond drunk. I suspect I was looking for a place to die, because I very nearly found one not far from here. It was there that a man named Dress took me in and nursed me back to health, and it was he who gave me my first taste of Baku's wine, which helped me to find my new calling. Though I am still a novice in the arts of winemaking, I would like to know that I would like him to know that I am pursuing my dream. This wine is my own original creation, and it would be most grateful if you delivered it to him in my stead. Dress sometimes works at the Raincatcher Gully docks, so perhaps Ritzgeidlit can tell you where to find him. Sometimes these names are just like a jumble of consonants and nouns. And that's not right. Consonants and vowels. Dressed? Oh, you mean the hermit? Aye, I toss him a few gil when we need an extra pair of hands. He doesn't talk about himself, and I sure as hell don't ask. When a man's got a face with scars like that, you best leave well enough alone, I say. If you've a mind to find him, though, head southwest to the Severed String. Alright, while we are making our way over to there, we have a new guild test that we can take on. Nice, we got an instant pop on that. Okay, so this one is kind of unique in that throughout the battle, there are going to be enemies kind of rotating damage throughout the area, and we're gonna have to kind of have to know where everything is happening to prevent damage from happening. All right, let's get this going. So that Shadow Eye, there's nothing that I can do about that. He's just going to keep dropping damage every now and then. Alright, he's coming around to here. So let's pull him away. As you can see, there's no AoE marker for him, so it's best to just focus and keep an occasional eye out for him. And then we need to move away from these Breath of Shadow. I'm wondering how that person managed to pull off of him. Okay, down goes the Shadow Claw. Okay, let's pick that up. Alright, and our destination... Whoops. Our destination is over to the west here. As we make our way over, let's also hop into the next guild test that we just unlocked. Alright, this one doesn't seem to be popping up as quickly as the last one did. Although we do have a DPS ready to go. Ah, there it is. So for this one, we were dealing with a bunch of bombs, and as the name suggests, they like to explode. So there's going to be a lot of AoE avoiding here. Oops, where'd that red marshmallow come from? Oh, they keep putting me to sleep. Well, that's the end of the field, so... Ah, here we go. Alright, so we got all these bombs that are going to try to explode. And then we've also got these baronets to worry about here. Once again, just run out of range of the bomb blasts, and you should be fine. Now this fight is actually reminiscent of a fight from Final Fantasy IV, And in that one, when you finish taking out the mom bomb, as she was called, she would split into 6 other bombs. But I don't believe that is the case here. There we go, duty complete. Okay, and we have arrived at our destination here. What do you want? Let's hand over the wine. Wine? I didn't ask for this. Who sent you? Can't sleep. They won't let me sleep. The midges, the buzzing, it keeps me awake. I never wanted to hurt anyone. I won't fight. I don't want to fight. Please, make the buzzing stop. Make the midges go away. Alright, so there are some midges around. Looks like it's to the northeast. Here they are. Let's make sure to get 100 back out here. Okay, here's a couple more of them. Okay, we got one up here. And the last one is right here. Alright, let's head back over to Dressed. It's not so loud anymore. Did you do that? Thank you, Please, brothers, I beg of you. I said I'm sorry. Leave me. Leave me in peace. Alright, so... the armor here... it looks like this is an upgrade. So let's go ahead and grab that. And we just leveled up. So that's level 36. Do you have any children? I have a son and a daughter. They were so little when I left. They probably think I'm dead. I've been saving for years to buy passage back home somehow. But still not enough. Maybe you could bring me some jungle coral skins? I can sell them. I just want to go home. Well, we just saw those a moment ago. There's the first one. Looks like Hadra got paralyzed there. Okay, one more. Alright, let's make our way back over to Dress again. Please, even a few skins would help. You helped me, even after what my comrades and I did to your country. We were on a reconnaissance mission when the Maelstrom caught us by surprise. We tried to escape, but the others, no one else survived. I didn't ask for this, damn it. I'm not even Garlean. They conquered my lands just like they tried to conquer yours. I don't want to die in some blasted jungle halfway around the world. I just want to go home. Alright, let's go with... I think we need some more high ethers at this point. Actually, I think those are our first high ethers. Yep, so those are going to replace the regular ethers there. I wish to thank Shamani for the wine. That was overly kind. Would you be willing to bear a gift back to him? Last night at Red Mantis Falls, I collected the sap from nearby palm trees. If placed in coconut shells and stored for a few bells' time, it makes for a fine wine, see. It should be ready by now. I left 3 shells out there. Please, take them to Shamani for me. I'm glad he moved on with his life. I hope to one day do the same. Alrighty. So our destination is to the northeast, and then we'll be able to head back over to Shamani. Okay, and here is the wine. Okay, we need one more. Alright, we have to take on the Gigantode here. But there's the last one that we need. Okay, we have all the palm wines. Let's head back over to Wineport. It has been some time, Prince. What news do you have of Dress? Let's hand over the palm wine. Ah yes, I recall he did have some knowledge of winemaking. A simplistic but nevertheless effective method that utilizes the natural properties of palm sap. I shall have to enjoy this batch before it spoils. We are not so different, Dress and I. 2 men who have long struggled not to let our scars define us. I worry that he has been alone with his thoughts for far too long. It's past time I paid him a visit. Thank you for looking after him, Prince. Alright, so we've got gloves, and I believe these are an upgrade. They are. My accuracy is going to suffer a little bit, but they do give me more crit now, which is, I would say, more important. By the gods, Prince, listen. I know you're eager to wash your hands of this wine business, but I've just discovered something extraordinary about Dress' palm wine. He sealed each coconut shell with a leaf which has a very distinct shape and unusual odor. I thought I was going mad at first, but now I'm certain. These are the leaves of a Baku's grapevine. Do you know what this means? Somewhere in Raincatcher Gully, the legendary vine still grows. If we could obtain a cutting, we could revive the Baku's wine industry. We must know where Dress found these leaves. Here, take one of them back to him and see what he remembers. Alright, so we are headed back south again. Yeah, unfortunately, some of these quests, you just kind of trek throughout the lands here. I'm doing what I can to try to cover up how long these treks can be sometimes, but we've already cleared out all the guild tests we need for today. Oh, hello again. What is it? It's just a leaf, isn't it? I only chose it because it was pretty. Didn't know it was rare. I found them near the Juggernaut to the south, but I didn't see any grapevines. I saw fresh gabu tracks, though. Maybe the leaves came from vines growing on the back of one such beast? If you go looking for it, please be careful. Some gabus are more territorial than others, and you may have to defend yourself. Alright, so he's talking about those giant creatures we've been walking by every now and then. And it looks like we are taking on Shesmu here. Alright, let's head back over to Wineport. What did Drest have to say, Prince? Tell me everything. Aha! I was right. This smell, this texture. I hold in my hands a Baku's grapevine cutting. Come now, enough of this nonsense. I've heard talk of your discovery, and I refuse to believe that a common adventurer and a novice vineyard could... 12 is my witness. It is a Baku's grapevine. Wherever did you find this fantastic specimen? What? You would offer this to me? But why? There's none better positioned to reconstruct the Baku's vineyards than you, Master Barglent. You have the resources, the knowledge, and the passion to do so. It would be selfish of me to keep this cutting. I never knew you cared so deeply about your craft. Thank you, good sir. I will not squander this gift. In just a few years' time, I swear that every tavern across Eorzea will once again be clamoring for a cask of Wineport's legendary Baku's wine. Sir, you needn't... Wait, the shape of this bottle, the scent of this label, this couldn't possibly be... A 1547 Baku's? But that's impossible. This vintage has not been seen since... years before the calamity. It was the crown jewel of my personal collection. For years I debated opening it, wondering if today or tomorrow would be the ideal time. But now I realize that it was never meant for me. It should be savored by the saviors of Wineport, I say. He has made us an offer we cannot refuse. Master Gigaruju will find no finer wine. You have forever changed Wineport, Prince. Thank you for your kindness and your generosity. But do not permit me to delay you any longer. Pray deliver the wine to Captain Wiesgate. Well, yes, I would very much like to drink it, but I am a patient man. I have faith that one day I shall have an opportunity to taste perfection. Alrighty, so let's head over to Costa De Sol one more time here. Alright. And so, with the wine in hand, we are going to deliver this on the next episode. Thank you for joining me today. This is PrinceBrightstar signing off. I'll catch you next time.